welcome to this Dota Summer Production. We are Suns Fan and Sinner, and this is Game 2 of the XMG Captain's Draft Invitational match between Liquid and Navi. Navi's up 1-0. Thank you guys for crashing our website with all that traffic. Really appreciate that. Sinner, how's it going, buddy?
Hello. Hopefully, let me just double check. Yeah, everything's good. I'm good, and I'm really hoping for Liquid to step it up. I feel like they've been underperforming lately, and I would love to see them get back in shape because we know they are a team that can really put out some quality Dota. But so far, over the last few days at least, they have not been playing their A game, and that last game against Navi was only 18 minutes as well. But I felt like to a larger degree that was more about the draft than about their individual play and their play as a team. And I just hope this time around they get off to a little bit of a better draft in the beginning here, and then we'll see where they take it from there. We've got some really interesting heroes up in this one, to be honest. We've got Zeus, Tinker, and Disruptor, all of which, or at least Tinker and Disruptor, are favorites of Liquid. And then favorites of Navi, I guess we should say there's the Lifesteal of Hvost, and I guess the Shadow Fiend of Dendi we could consider as well.
Also, TC has 3 heroes that he loves. First, Wraith King, which hasn't had the best win rate, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not going to pick it. But also Razor, who is probably his favorite hero of all time. Also, I didn't mention Viper, who Navi loves in turn. So there's actually a lot of heroes that these plays.
Oh, Storm was there as well. Yeah, that's gone now.
Yeah, Storm ban with the Puck and Tinker. But a lot of great heroes right now to choose from, for sure.
It's a shame for Liquid. They really want to play that Tinker, and it's actually been in the pool now twice, but Navi are not going to let them. And Navi are, of course, they're looking good in the tournament so far with a 2-0 win against Roxkiss and now 1-0 against Liquid, and they know that taking these series 2-0 it's going to put them in an amazing position right now if they get this one 2-0 as well, because then they have 6 points, and they're
pretty much guaranteed, to make it.
They're going to be leading by far. That's almost a guaranteed top 4 already from the first 2 games. They might need a bit more, but to be honest, well, when I think about it, that's actually almost a guarantee, having 2 2-0s. Team Liquid, they're going to do whatever they can to prevent that. And this time around, they're going to go for the Disruptor and Rubik. I think Disruptor could very well be played mid by Bulba this time. And I think no matter what Navi pick now, no matter how this draft goes, I think it's going to be better for Liquid than in the last game. There's not so many things that could trick them.
Sorry, I wouldn't be too surprised if Navi tries a denial Razor here, because obviously it works great with Bane, and you know that Team Liquid is looking at that as a possibility to pick up for TC.
And, well, Ember Spirit is in there as well. They're going to get the Slaughter first. I think this is the first time we see Slaughter in our tournament, which is kind of surprising considering how much he's starting to be picked up in Captain's mode. But the Slaughter is often picked as a combo pick together with Dazzle in the lane, which we don't have here, just for they have great synergy with the minus armor, the physical damage they have together.
Turn to pick.
This time's not going to be available. It's going to be a Night Stalker instead for Navi, so they're really showing their hand here. They're going extremely aggressive strength heroes that can dive, and that means Liquid have a chance now to set up for it. I think they should pick Viper, just flat out now. Get the Viper against these heroes so that you can control them with slows, which both of these heroes really struggle against. Or, like you said, the Razor is also still an opportunity here to drain the damage out. They're going to get a Battano, which kind of almost makes it clear that Disruptor will be played as a core, and there is the Viper, probably for TC. I like Liquid's picks a lot more here than in the last.
And they have great supports. I think you're right about Disruptor not being a support, though, which is very good to see. I mean, when you level up Glimpse, it's so hard to play against, especially when you're trying to have TP support and all that good stuff. But the Viper slows against any melee, and of course, when they're your core heroes in Slaughter and Night Stalker, that's going to prevent a lot of aggression. 30 seconds left for Navi to continue their picks here, or to finish off their picks, I should say. Are they going to continue with just mid-game and try to get that? They don't have many supports, or any supports, really. I'm trying to look. I guess Earthshaker, and that is literally it to go along with Bane. Perhaps that's what they're going to go for. I'm not sure.
Remaining.
They could get a Wraith King support as well. They're going to get the Ember first, though, which this is kind of like the last game that... Yeah, there we go. That's kind of the...
Team Liquid's turn to pick.
The most jumpy hero here that's going to be hard to control for Team Liquid. They do have Disruptor and the instant stun from Telekinesis from Rubik, which is great against Ember, but it's something to be worried about for Team Liquid. And I think their last pick, to whatever extent possible, should be able to deal with this. And I could imagine, actually, them running an offlane Tusk, which is something I know Bulba has been experiencing with at some point, with the Ice Shards being able to block the camp, but never mind, it's going to be the Razor. So
Is Viper?
The tri lane aggressively here, I think. They don't really have an offlaner.
I think you're right.
And it is a support disruptor. Interesting. So now we have locked in their heroes already, so we can introduce them. We've got Puppy playing the Bane once again. A Slaughter. We've got Dendi on the Night Stalker. Hvost will be playing as Ember Spirit. And finally Kuroki on the Wraith King. I want to point out Hvost, we've seen him playing Ember Spirit once before only, I think, in a competitive match. And that was actually against Team Liquid. And they lost that game, even though Navi were really far ahead. So, going to be interesting to see if...
I thought they picked it in our tournament.
Get a repeat here. No, that was Fnatic against Liquid last time, I think. It was played by Trixie. I think that's the only Ember Spirit we've had in our tournament, unless if I'm...
That's true. No, you're right. And that was domination for Trixie as well.
Yes,
and it was against Team Liquid, right? So let's see how they fare against it this time. But on the other side of the coin, we have Liquid, Koipka playing the... I guess that's an off-lane Abaddon. Way2 playing the Disruptor support, Fluff, the hard support in Rubik, Bulba, as we mentioned. Going to be the mid Viper. And TC, as I predicted, which I didn't think that was going to happen after the Viper pick, but playing the Razor. So, and of course, that is another hero that's great against melee because they need to be close to hit you, and you need to be close to get static link. So it works in their favor. And of course, the slows with Viper is going to... I thought they might pick a Quap to be off lane, to be honest. I think the Shadow Strike would be pretty good against this lineup as well, but they wanted a little bit more survivability, so they're going to go with Abaddon, who's still going to have some trouble if he goes against an aggressive lane for Navi. But I'm excited to see Kuroki as the Wraith King because Wraith King, I don't think is a... So Liquid plays him as a carry. I don't think he's a carry anymore at all. I think you have to play him as support. I don't think he's that great as a support. He still needs some changes to actually mold him into one. Like perhaps, well, I've done a lot of theory crafting with Wraith King. We won't go into that. But regardless of my opinions, he's still solid with his lifesteal just being insane. And of course, keep in mind that's going to work with Ember Spirit when using... actually, does that work? I'm actually questioning myself now. Does lifesteal work with Sleight of Fist?
I guess if you...
Because really I know that like it procs with like everything else, like Mjolnir or the negative armor from Desolator.
Any attack modifier that Sin has, such as Critical Strike, Bash, Cleave, or Orb effects, will be applied normally in these attacks. It doesn't say... Because the thing about Vlad's aura is that it's not an attack modifier. It's just an aura. So... And actually, I don't think it works, but we're going to see it. It's going to be really obvious if it works,
think
at least.
If it did work, we would see this more often. We would even see him pick up lifesteal. I think you're right. It doesn't work because that would be so OP.
No, but lifesteal should work because that's an orb effect. So he could do that.
Either way,
but he never gets Vlad's, I think.
I don't know. That seems like it would be so OP. Like you just heal up by just using Sleight of Fist on heroes. I guess we'll see. We'll see if that's the case or not.
He's going to start out with a haste, and I feel like the cool thing for Liquid here is when you're just looking at Razor versus the individual heroes of Navi, it's going to be hard to drain most of them. Slaughter is very mobile, Night Stalker is very mobile, Ember Spirit is very mobile. The thing for Razor is he has a lot of good teammates to allow the drain to come off from Static Link, and it's going to be a crucial part for Liquid to be able to win this game, is that they manage to get some good drains off. They have Kinetic Field, which is amazing against Night Stalker and Slaughter. And then they also have the Rubik Telekinesis as Navi. Wow, this is really aggressive. This could...
Yes.
Well, I don't even know if they can bring down TC, to be honest. He's got 600 health. Oh, never mind, they're 4 heroes.
We have a stun from Kuroki to fall in all likelihood. Nice telekinesis, going to get a triple stun, but Liquid TC will fall as the first one. But this was pretty expensive. You're going to lose out on a lot of XP. Top lane right now is completely solo for Koipka. Is this worth it? I suppose getting the first blood and the TPs immediately after. He doesn't really miss too much, I suppose.
Who got it? Yeah, Frost got it. So the one who lost a bit up on the top lane experience-wise is the one who got the first blood. So I would definitely say Navi can afford it, and it's going to be worth it. However, this is not the biggest deal in the world, I think. It's a slight advantage for Navi. They had to buy a TP scroll, though, so that's quite a big part of the gold Frost gained going into that. And they were 4 heroes getting that first blood, so the amount of experience they got wasn't, the individual heroes didn't get that much out of it. Not too bad for Liquid, considering what it could have been, as these first bloods often do.
They're just roaming completely.
But Navi are playing some weird stuff right here, not gonna lie.
Absolutely. Is this like more mind game? Like, you're talking about the momentum coming in for Navi, completely dominating Team Liquid, and they get first blood before the creeps even connect, basically. So perhaps trying to get deep within the minds of Team Liquid, as we're going to perhaps see a gank here. Funnick trying to get as much XP as possible. Little do they know in Liquid that he is all by his lonesome. Fluff gonna attempt to do some damage to him in the meantime. Abaddon, as we talked about, going to be 1v1 against Chavost, picking up the Curse of Avernus really early, which I really like to see. And it looks like Puppy and Kuroki are going to think twice about this gank mid and going to rejoin Funnick in the bottom lane.
Yeah, this is not the laning I was expecting from Navi, and I feel like apart from the first blood, this is not going to accomplish as much. The good thing for them is how good they are at farming the jungle. You can just see how well they're using the Vampiric Aura. They're immediately just family farming this camp, but being 3 heroes out there farming that means that they're not getting the lane experience right now. And I feel like this is a lane that Navi's 3 heroes cannot really contest at the moment. They don't have enough damage. Slaughter is a great setup in the lane with the stun, which does some damage, but they're missing a little bit of, significant burst that is going to come when Puppy reaches level 3 for the stronger brain sap, but at the moment, I simply think Navi cannot kill this Razor if they initiate him when he has full HP, and that's really good for Team Liquid, because it means that TC can safely farm down here, and maybe they can be the aggressors when they get a few levels up, especially Fluff's level 3. I think the level 2 Fate Bolt is going to be really important for that 20 damage reduction in all Navi's heroes who are double melee and short range. This Fate Bolt is going to hit all of them. It's going to remove such a big part of their damage output.
And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about, is the effect of Fade Bolts, and that's a great point to bring up. Do you think that part of the strategy of going for that 4-man gank at the beginning of the game is because they knew that their tri-lane would be, well, kind of garbage compared to Team Liquid? They're going to have a lot of trouble in that tri-lane. Chavost is going to be, I think, they're going to be relying on the mid and Chavost at top because they're not going to get much here. And we talk about getting first blood, and of course it was Chavost getting the first blood. So I'm not sure if that was planned, but either way, that's what's happened. And like you're talking about the family jungling from Navi.
This is so weird. Oh, they're actually going. I think Puppy was like, never mind, Funnick, this isn't going to happen. Funnick's still just trying to put a little bit of pressure on here, but I feel like Liquid are getting the better trade-off, especially because Koikva's winning top lane. He's actually doing really well against this Ember Spirit, and Ember Spirit is a hero who beats most melee heroes simply by virtue of having that flame bar. But Abaddon, when you think about it, these two heroes both have shields, and Abaddon's shield kind of counters out Ember Spirits. It tanks up the damage, and then if he uses that together with Mist Coil, he can remove the shield on Chavost entirely. And he just keeps him in place. Look at Koikva, how aggressively he's going. He has the face boost advantage against Chavost, who's really struggling up here. I didn't think this was going to be this one-sided, but when you think about it, this is a great lane for Abaddon.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't expecting that lane to begin with, so absolutely.
No, me neither. Yeah, that's another
Dendi
good point.
picks up a haste, is bottom lane with pretty much the entirety of Navi, other than Chavost, who's at top lane. Are they going to find TC under the trees here? Has a haste if he wants to pop it. We hear a crush going off on creeps, it sounds like. TC's going to be found out. Void to fall in all likelihood. There it goes. He's going to try to static link, but it's going to be too much damage and too quickly of a kill. TP is completely canceled for Team Liquid. And we didn't talk about mid lane at all. It's the only lane that Navi is winning, and it's kind of surprising that Night Stalker is beating a Viper, to be completely honest. There goes the glimpse, gonna bring back Dendi. Crush, is it gonna hit? Yes, Fluff's gonna take some damage. Is it gonna be enough though? Yes, indeed it is. Funnick is trying to get out. He's gonna take a Thunderstrike to the face. Way too. Gonna get helped out by the static link of TC, but Dendi's gonna chase. He has the haste still activated. Void to follow. I think that's gonna be enough. Yes, not be able to block him in is TC, but the plasma field and the tower, nice bottling, but Bulba's gonna find him. Oh, Rubik steals it.
He needed one poison attack there. I think Bulba was like, fuck this guy, I want this kill. But yeah, that was really not necessary. And Navi kind of, I'm surprised they got away with that the way they did. I think they could have gone way worse for them. And they even get the tier 1 tower here. Kuroki is going to be picking that up on his level 2 Wraith King. Last hits that tower. What am I watching? Dendi top?
I don't know.
Oh, they're going aggressively here.
No. Void. Oh, I'm sorry. Borrow time was already used. There comes the crippling fear. This should be enough to get the kill. Dendi has a void. Up in 2 seconds, we'll find him in the jungle. Oh, the Abaddon using his shield and just completely ring around the rosy ink. I'm just going to use that term because I'm awesome. But again,
here's another one.
Aphotic shield takes the crippling fear, and Way 2 is here to save the day. Dendi completely diving. He's
phenomenal play by Koikva here. Wow. That was so sick. just played Dendi there for a good 20 seconds and even led him into his death. That was beautifully played.
That's the one negative from Navi, is that they get really greedy at times, and Dendi just wanted the kill, plain and simple.
And that means that's a big kill going back the way of Liquid. They're still quite far behind on gold. Most of it's the tower, though. If you discount the tower, behind by about 700 gold and ahead by about 700 experience. So kind of even in that regard. And, Dendi's going to get glimpsed away. What a dick move by Way 2.
Absolutely. What level is that? It's a level 2 glimpse.
And we need to think about this too. Dendi is playing Night Stalker at the 7-minute mark. He just lost 30 seconds of one of the most important stages of Night Stalker in the game, which is the first nighttime when you're playing solo mid. Need to make something happen, and he lost a lot of potential there. They will try to go for Bob, but they can't kill him. So Dendi's first night didn't really yield too good results for him.
We have to mention that, of course, if Void is used on Viper, the corrosive skin proc, so that's going to slow. And again, TC as well, so Night Stalker's going to have some trouble initiating. He's going to take the, what is it even called? The unstable current as well. So 2 slows just by initiating. We're going to perhaps get a BKB or something like that.
Puppy, they're going in on mid.
Oh, okay,
Liquid
we're going to
knows
focus
this.
on mid. Kuroki getting telekinesis into the Bulba ultimate. Kuroki only level 3, but here comes the Nightmare, and that, wow, Rubik just gets decimated. Do they want to go on Bulba is the question. Kuroki getting reload, only level 3 as we talked about, playing the force support Wraith King. Not something you see that often, but I think something you'll be seeing more often in the future, especially once more changes are made to him to kind of make him more of a support hero overall. Haste Room, Bulba's going to pick it up.
He used his ult. Nighttime is going to expire pretty soon. That was a little surprising to me to see Dendi using his ultimate there. That was the end of the natural night. So now he's not going to have night for the next 2.5 minutes. That's a really big deal. If he comes in close again now, Bulba could potentially... Oh, he doesn't have ultimate. That's the daytime now. Dendi for, 150 seconds. Not going to be able to get that damage boost. And Bulba even sitting on a haste rune, he's going to dominate him out of the lane.
Gonna get nightmared into a crush. Wraith King gonna stun after the fact. Enough damage by all means. You're seeing the slow come out and how powerful that could be, but of course if it's a 3-on-1, it's not, doesn't really matter a whole lot. Kavos, we haven't really talked about too much, has the second highest farm in the game. Of course 1-0 thanks to that first blood of the originally. Koifa gonna be jungling right now. Interesting choice here. And Funix just gonna be pushing this lane and backing up with his team. But net worth right now, Bulba on top of the charts right now with 3,500. And as far as last hit's concerned, top of the charts, along with his buddy in Abaddon, which is kind of what we were alluding to earlier, doing a great job in that lane early.
Yeah, but with Koifa rotating, that opens up so much space for us to tie up. This game is a lot more even as far as farm is concerned, but Navi, they're going for a big play right now, and they have all the tools they need. They have the built-in lifesteal from the Wraith King, they have amplify damage from the Stunner, and I think...
Don't forget they have Bane's auto attack too. So powerful.
Yeah, that's amazing. Liquid should be realizing this right now. Navi are not defending their tier 1 mid. What is going on? And if they realize it now, it's too late. Things coming out, it's actually from Navi. Look, team, we're doing Roshan. And looks like, good job, team. Finally, now Liquid realize that Navi are up to snuff, but it's too late. Koikva has to retreat. They're actually going to turn on Puppy here.
Has his ulti. Yeah, if he nightmares Bulba, Bulba's going to get completely surrounded, but a nice spot actually is going to take him out of stun immediately. Disruptor's going to be the first casualty for a triple crush, it looked like. Funnick taking a lot of damage thanks to the slow from Bulba. Puppy getting caught out, doesn't have enough for his ultimate, wouldn't be able to get it off in that case as well. Bulba trying to deal some damage to Dendi, but Kavos is here to save the day. Another Aphotic Shield taking off the slow. Very nicely done. The Aphotic Shield's so powerful in situations like this. Bulba getting a double kill. Can they take out this tower? It is a 3v5. Of course, Bane's going to be up in 8 seconds. Has not used his ultimate, so he will be back. As we see a TP. Did somebody else die? Did Fluff die in that engagement? Looks like we're going to have more of a dive here. Bulba taking a Void to the face along with the Wraith King stunned, but he does not have his ultimate because he's such a low level of his support. There's the Bane ultimate that we're talking about. Bulba is dead. I do believe almost alive thanks to Abaddon's heal.
Dendi's going to die here. He has the
so
Aegis.
dead.
He has the what?
Thunder Strike. He's trying to stay alive. Oh, there's the Fade Bolt. Fluff taken out. Aegis is used as you were talking about. This tower is dead. Disruptor taking the last hit. The
Fluff
crush
joins the
Fluff,
tower in heaven.
along with the negative earn charge. Absolutely.
But Liquid, they fight back there. They did lose Roshan, but they got the tower. They got a couple of kills straight off, and that was just really Aphotic Shield, like you said, doing work. And next fight, now Bulba is back to life with a mech and his ultimate ready.
Yeah.
Quite unfortunately pretty low in mana here, so I think they might have to concede this tower, but actually Liquid, they do have a level 4 plasma field on TC who could go in and start putting some pressure, but he's being zoned really heavily here by both Phonic and Vost with that Fire Remnant placed very nicely.
This tier 1 tower is dead, to say the least. Oh, Crush is going to be cancelled. Viper Strike is going to be used on Phonic. He's going to back up immediately. The tier 1 tower is dead. Believe Navi's going to back up as Slardar is getting... Well, I guess he wasn't that low. He has the Urn Charge to boot. Bulba getting Nightmared. Puppey does not have his ultimate. Already used it to get a kill in that mid-engagement, and Navi's going to back up. Happy with that tier 1 tower kill. And now that Puppey's 6... Although we saw him die initially, but then because he was such a low level, came back in the fight and was able to use his grip to Navi's advantage. And TC, level 7, going for drums it looks like. And Navi's sticking around in the jungle.
No, he doesn't. Oh wow, he's actually really low farmed here on the Razor. He of course has 3 deaths and only 35 CS, and we were expecting Liquid to get more out of that easy lane, but Navi's rotations in this game so far have just been superior, and I think now is the time when Liquid are actually strongest for the next quite long time. So it looks like they think so as well.
For the next quite long time.
I didn't want to say for the rest of the game, because I think they're actually pretty strong in late game as well, especially if the Baron gets items, but they have a lineup which is like... It has 2 phases. It's good in the later portion of the early game and the earlier portion of the mid game, and then they're good very late, I think, with both Viper and Razor getting a lot of items against this Navi lineup. But right now, with the mech, which I still don't think Navi have... Nope. They have a mech. They have a mech on Navi, and or mech advantage in comparison to Navi, and the levels and the key heroes. Now they need to try to defend this tier 2 tower as Navi are trying to trade a little bit. They barely get any damage on it though, but look out for the blink on Phonic. That's gonna be a big playmaker here for Navi. I don't think Liquid knows he has
blink on Phonic. I think they do. They saw him top lane. I'd be shocked if they don't. They're gonna have some TPs here mid. Just going to break this up. Looks like that's going to be the case. Dendi is working on an Aghanim Scepter right away, unless he's doing something weird like a Force Staff. It's kind of odd to see somebody pick up a Staff of Wizardry first, though, in this case. So, not sure what that's about. But either way, probably going the Aghanim Scepter. And Bulba, as we talked about, has the mech. Haven't really seen that in fight yet. We have a smoke here by Navi. Going to go towards the Ancients. Puppey going to be seen, and they're going to actually run right next to each other. Phonic getting completely surrounded. There goes the Thunderstrike. He's going to use his sprint and then not pick up the regeneration randomly. He's going to get glimpsed into the kinetic field. Is there a static storm to follow is the question. Phonic going to go down to the Viper Strike. Was the courier killed? Looks like it was, because a bunch of items were given out.
That was the Radiant Courier, though. So Navi get a 1-for-1 trade, I guess you could say. Phonic for a courier. Kind of a weird 1-for-1, but I think... This overall still favors Liquid because of the kill they avoid. They could have been ganked there, but not only did they kill Phonic, they also made Navi waste their smoke effectively. So pretty good trade-off for them. I think they're going to end up trading a tier 2 for a tier 2 here as well, as Navi are just avoiding fights right now. Essentially, they're just trading off whenever they can. And Dendi is actually going for Yule Scepter. Oh, the flashbacks to when I used to be good at this game. Sunspan, those were the days. Oh, it's such a long time ago.
Explain that to me. Obviously, it gives him move speed, but does he really need it? So tell me how that...
Dire's top tower.
I'm going to wait a sec to see. There's going to be an initiation up here. Phonic and Dendi are going to find out Koikva. I'm not sure they want to be here. Dendi very aggressive going in for this. They're actually continuing. They're 2-on-5.
Wow. This is Navi we're talking about, Cinder, and as Phonic's going to get Static Storm along with the Viper Strike. Great combination. It's going to be a trade for now. Static Link giving him so much damage. Dendi able to get out. 1-for-1 trade. Definitely
they got a 1-for-1 in that.
Actually, that's right. Abaddon is side solo, so not the worst trade, obviously. Okay, you need to explain this Cyclone Stick, which I'm going to call
so
Cyclone Stick.
This is kind of, apart from the fact that he got phase instead of treads, this is the build I used to play back in the days in Dota 2. And what's really great about the Yule Scepter and Night Stalker is that the way the hero works, you're lacking some sort of secondary stun / whatever to break TPs. Now Dendi can play aggressively with his Void, so they can't TP out, which hasn't really been that big of a part of this game so far. Additionally, he has no mana problems anymore. He has full movement speed, and He is also able to disjoint the Viper ult, which I think is kind of good here. And perhaps even, I don't think he can disjoint the Glimpse as Bulba. He's going to need some big disjointing here. He's not going to get it. Will not get the mech off.
Nice static storm, going to do a lot of damage to silence Navi. Of course, Kuroki has his ultimate. I think you've seen the Cyclone being used there by Dendi, but it's going to set up a Funnick Crush on TC, and Dendi's going to have to back out of this. Right now, it's a 2 for nothing exchange in Navi's favor. TC getting it. Okay, Kuroki still has his ultimate mind. He's going to get stunned. It's going to use it. And Dendi very, very low. And there's the borrowed time from Koika being procced. 3 for nothing exchange for Navi. Make that 4. Completely cleaning up. As Disruptor was the only one... No, actually, Raze was the only one to live. And Disruptor just hit level 6, so used his Static Storm. It was a really good initiation for them, but did not work out in their favor in the end. Chabos is going for Battle Fury, looks like.
And I feel like this fight for Liquid would have been great if they weren't outnumbered. They willingly ran in 3 against 5 after the first engage, in which they lost a hero. Now Funnick. Oh, he misses the
that crush misses! But Way2 might be dead anyway, and he does go down. Chabos dealing so much damage at this early stage of the game. Cyclone can prevent a little bit of initiation from Bulba, who does not have his Aghanim Scepter as of yet, but his Viper Strike is up. Koika trying to get off the slow, not able to auto-attack anybody. Even with the phase boost, still kind of slow. Typically you see a side carry like that pick up maybe drums, or even an SNY on Abaddon isn't the worst thing in the world, but not able to get too much farm as drums is picked up on Razor instead. That's actually, we were talking about that like 5 minutes ago. He's just picked it up. Very late.
Yeah, the Razor really needs to get some sort of health. It's the main problem for Liquid right now, is that their heroes just don't survive long enough against the burst lineup Navi has right now. TC needs, even a Vitality booster would work wonders for him right now, to allow him to stay alive and get the static link off long enough.
Radiant's top tower.
At least they get to put a little bit of pressure here. It is daytime, but Dendi has his ult, and he's thinking about it. He's actually showing himself just a second there to try and taunt. Now he's going to run over and get the rune with his ult. I think Navi are effectively conceding this tower here. A little bit surprising for me. I thought they were going to fight for this, but
Dire's middle tower
could get a tier 2.
Radiant's
really
top
important
tower
for them.
is under attack.
They're gonna need a good fight now. These towers are not enough, and it's even gonna end up with a 1-for-1 trade as Roshan takes the top one. Oh, they ult the illusion.
That's a big investment. Can Navi initiate on the back? We're gonna see a crush on Fluff. Dendi gonna avoid it back. Static Storm's gonna break them up completely. Kuroki does not have an ultimate, so you better be careful. He looks like he's gonna go down. The Viper Strike just too strong. He does fall, despite having a pretty good initiation from Navi, although I guess the crush on Rubik, not the best target of choice, but probably the only target of choice that we're going to see. Way2 get caught out. I don't have any idea what he's doing. That ends up being a 1-for-1 trade, support for support, so Navi ends up breaking even somehow.
Yeah, very ballsy play here from Funnick to go in there, but I guess Dendi was giving them the necessary vision to know that the other heroes weren't in position as Funnick. He's going to get lifted here by Rubik and amplified.
Didn't attack though.
And blinks
Despite having telekinesis, did not auto-attack. Didn't look like they wanted to initiate, although little did they know they had the numbers big time in that river. No backup for Navi. As we have, speaking of backup, there's the Cyclone Stick, which we're going to call Yule from now on. I apologize. As Funnick's going to get ulted right away, so he's going to be limited as far as blue sees. Fluff's going to trade his life with the Wraith King, so another support for support. Bulba getting ulted by Puppy, but the Aquatic Shield just so strong, keeping them alive. A double, triple crush for Funnick. Is that going to be enough for him to get away? Viper Strike is not up, but the poison attack, is it going to be enough? Oh man, the plasma field, way too much damage, way too much range. This tier 1 tower is dead. Chabos and Dendi just chilling in the river.
Yeah, they're going to go up and stab Liquid now. They're still showing signs of life though, and I think Liquid might be able to turn this. There's no Fiend's Grip. They're always looking healthy.
Yep.
Puppy's in a lot of trouble here.
The Aquatic Shield is canceling literally every spell for Navi. That's got to be very frustrating. We have another crush coming out. Navi getting a 1-for-1 trade. Viper for Bane. TC will fall. Sticking around a little too long is Team Liquid.
Didn't have the mana.
And that's going to be another death for Koika. The crushes. So despite, I mean, the Aquatic Shield has been, like if there was no Aquatic Shield this game would be over. Completely over. It has been mitigating so much damage, so many stuns. But it's relatively even overall, I still think. And I think Roshan is up. Yes, he is. So this should be an easy Roshan kill for Navi yet again.
Yeah, I think Koika has been playing really well on his bat in this game, but it doesn't cut it it when the other heroes just don't stay alive. That's still the main problem. You're about the Desolator and Dendi, I guess? Yeah. This is a very uncontroversial item build. Unconventional. Why did I say that? But
Uncontroversial. Guys, new word.
Unconventional item build. Acceptor picked up by Boba. And I want to point out, I feel like in a lot of these fights, TC, he's only got 2 points in static link, which baffles me, considering which heroes he's up against. But on top of that, he's a lot of the time not really getting the drain on the heroes he should want to get it on, as now he's actually going to be on the receiving end of the gank. Instead, Puppy will use the Fiend's Grip. They will not be on fire to save.
Definitely worth it, as Liquid's getting pretty cocky here. They better be careful. Viperstone's going to be used on Funnick. Not able to get stuck in the kinetic field, as we have a 1-for-1 trade. Dendi getting a double kill apparently in the back end. And wow, they're just completely diving. Boba's dead. The Aphotic Shield being used. But good lord, Navi is cleaning up so hard. And an ultra kill for Dendi. Can he get it a rampage? Make it a rampage! Oh! And they're going to clean up the tier 3.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Just that one pickoff transitioned into a full team wipe. Now I think Liquid made a big mistake to try and fight after they lost the Razor there.
Again.
It's over. It's just how it is. This game is over.
But again, it's before the tier 3's killed. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it wasn't over. But again, it's before the tier 3's killed. They concede yet again.
But I feel like their lineup had potential. I feel like they could have definitely pulled this off, but the timing for them and the teamwork wasn't there. It was not as coordinated as Navi, Navi were playing sick aggression here. Dendi ending up with 14, 2, and 7, doing lots of work on the Night Stalker, and you just wish for Liquid that they would get off to a little bit better start in these games, because it just feels like they crumble. They get off to a bad start, then they come back a little bit, but it's still not enough because they're so far behind, and then they end up just losing the game because of it. The Razor in this game never became a threat, even though he was actually pretty good against quite a few of Navi's heroes. The timing just wasn't there.